Listen, if you want more of this content, all you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get all the best updates and new videos and live shows. Yes, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and tell us how you're feeling. Yeah, pick up your feelings. Oh, that is my new joint right there. That Jasmine Sullivan, pick up your feelings. Okay. I'm going to try to get us out of our feelings here, out of our political feelings, and see if we can find some common ground in a subject tonight. Governor Andrew Cuomo condemned the officers' action. 3 officers have been suspended after a video went viral showing them pepper spraying a 9-year-old girl while responding to a report of family trouble. Take a look at the clip.
This is your last chance, otherwise pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on, let's go.
Alright, keep me safe for a minute.
I want my dad. I'm gonna go get him. Now sit back. Come on. I will fix it. I will fix it.
Dear, why you just stop for a second and take a deep breath. Hey, just stop.
Please. I will get your dad.
No, you said that you were gonna pepper spray me. No, please, no, stop.
Sit back.
Oh, I got a bad arm.
Just spray her.
No, I have
Just spray her at this point.
Stop.
Dear.
Stop.
I got her. I got her.
Please, wipe my eye. Wipe my eye, please.
Governor Andrew Cuomo condemned the officers' actions and said in a statement, this isn't how the police should treat anyone, let alone a 9-year-old girl. So what are your thoughts on this, Dominique?
I mean, as a mom, it just makes you really mad. You know what I mean? They had 6 cop cars there. She's a 9-year-old girl and she's handcuffed. There can be no possible explanation for pepper spraying her. Not to mention, the call is for a family disturbance. The child is suicidal. So you fix it by handcuffing her, sticking her face down in the snow and pepper spraying her. It's amazing. They treated her worse than they treated the insurrectionists at the Capitol. And I just, it's just a great illustration of why we need comprehensive restructuring and reimagining of our law enforcement in this country.
Ed, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, disgusted. This isn't new. This is something we've talked about on the show before, and this is something that we've witnessed. I don't think any of us are surprised that it's a young African American girl. I don't really, frankly, think any of us are surprised that these officers would do this to a 9-year-old girl. It's shocking, but when you think about it, what the officers did, it is a torture. It is, you don't want your officers to be judge, jury, and executioner, but to handcuff someone and then pepper spray them in their eyes is an act of oppression. That is a torture, and you just don't want officers to do that. When I look at and what really makes me mad is the police union's response to this. I still have yet to see the Rochester Police Union come out and just say that what these members of their police force did was wrong. The police union is defending them. They're going to defend them in court. They're going to defend their rights. And that's the most disgusting part about this whole policing in America.
Dr. ALYCIA, is there any hope for law enforcement to gain the Black community's trust?
Well, there has to be hope because our community needs to be protected by the folks who are supposed to protect and serve. You told us not to get in our feelings on this, Tammi Mack, but this has me in my feelings more than anything else. I think it's a sad state of affairs that the one thing that can unite us across the Black political spectrum is the disgust of the brutality of our people by law enforcement. This is a shame. This is a travesty. This doesn't have to happen. Dominique mentioned it and mentioned it as well. This young girl was not a threat to anybody. The fact that you heard an officer say, okay, just pepper spray already, it shows a complete disregard for this young girl and who she is and who she could be. And it's a sickening thing to know that this is what's out there in terms of what people believe about us who are supposed to protect and serve. But we do have to have hope that something can happen. I think it is a comprehensive reform of what police officers are asked to do, because without it, our community will continue to be over-policed and underprotected.
But this is why.
Go for it.
But Black people shouldn't have to pay state taxes. This is damn ridiculous. This was a mental health call. How do you show up for a mental health call and pepper spray a 9-year-old in the eyes? The problem is they never see our kids as kids. The officer had a nerve to say, "You're acting like a child." Her response was, "I am a child." He knew he was called for a 9-year-old. Where's the confusion? But they never want to see our kids as kids. And that's really the biggest issue here. And that's why when there's a mental health call and you can't find a mental health professional, you get a bunch of cops, wait for the black cop, because this group could not do the job. What they did to that child was criminal. And there's no other way to, everybody involved in that should be fired.
Our soulmate Therese says, racist piece of shit. And then, J No Cap Max says, if they're not fired, y'all better riot.
Well, it's also time for us to pass the Breathe Act, right? Or at least the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which already went through the House. And Alicia's right. It's the adultification of our children. Study after study shows that people, because of their unconscious bias or overt racism combined with the systemic racism, they see our kids as older, bigger, and stronger than they really are. That is a classic manifestation of unconscious racism.
Yeah, and I'll say this last piece, which is, you know, yes, there are some good legislative options out there. This is not legislative. This isn't something where I want to see police training for the Rochester police. They don't need more money for training. There's nothing that they need to learn. Those officers need to be prosecuted and thrown in jail. It's just that simple.
Well, we know all too well that that's never going to happen. And I have a prime example right here. 2 of the 6 Atlanta officers, Mark Gardner and Ivory Streeter, who were fired last June after a viral video showed them dragging 2 college students out of their car, have been reinstated with back pay. On May 30th of last year, 20-year-old Spelman student Tanaya Pilgrim and 22-year-old Morehouse student Messiah Young caught the attention of the nation when they were forcibly removed from their car by 6 officers. Former Atlanta Police Chief Erica Shields and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms fired the officers, saying the incident was a clear use of excessive force. Well, now they have been reinstated and they have been given all of their money back.
Yeah, but this is procedural. I mean, they're saying they didn't follow the notification, procedures or whatever. And so that their rights were violated, the cops. And to your point, Ed, and to your point, Tammy, it's true they may never automatically go to jail, but passing the Breathe Act or passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act would make a difference, because it makes it easier to hold officers accountable and it makes certain behaviors illegal.
True. Very true.
Dominique, explain for our viewers here, explain what the Breathe Act is.
The Breathe Act is an alternative to the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that was put together with more input from the movement for Black Lives Matter, Patrisse Cullors in particular, who's one of the founders of that. And it is a comprehensive police reform bill that will, just like the George Floyd Act, outlaws chokeholds and stuff like that nationwide. This goes a step further because it's coming from the anti-racist movement.
But what does it say? How does it help us in any way?
Well, I mean, it gets rid of, many of the problems that we've had in terms of, the chokehold, takes away some of the extra layers of protections that keep police officers, like qualified immunity, that keep police officers from facing accountability. It creates citizen review boards for local policing, and something that the Obama administration Blue Ribbon panel suggested, which is that police involved shootings and abuse should be taken out of the hands of local district attorneys who rely on police officers to prosecute their other cases, and be handled by an independent review board of prosecutors or attorneys that do the investigation and handle those cases, so that there's no conflict of interest with local DAs handling police abuse cases. And, those kinds of reforms, sweeping reforms that could make it easier to have real meaningful accountability, a national registry and such.
Our soulmate, Miss Gray 09 says, dismantle the whole damn system. White people treat dogs better. Alicia?
Oh, yeah, they definitely treat dogs better. And we know that shit. Dogs in the pictures with them with the same damn clothes. So we know they get treated better. But yeah, it's definitely, the system is rotten. The system is rotten. One thing a Donald Trump win did was expose all the loopholes and how funky and rotten these systems are. It blew the lid off of it. We know, and it has to be revamped. This stuff is terrible. It's terrible. And that's why I love the fact that the Camden, New Jersey Police Department figured out a way to revamp their entire police department. And that should be the model for other police departments. It's something that can be done, and it has to be done. Stuff is not getting any better, hasn't gotten any better after the murder of George Floyd.
Yeah. So a middle school in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin has been forced to apologize to parents and suspend an unknown number of teachers who went out an assignment, who sent out an assignment. I'm sorry, I'm grabbing this soulmate. Christopher Johnson says, Dominique is on, so I got to watch.
Thank you.
Girl.
Okay, so a middle school in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin has been forced to apologize to parents and suspend an unknown number of teachers who sent out an assignment asking students to think about the assignment from the perspective of a person who enslaved people in ancient Mesopotamia. Think about it. So check out the wording in the assignment. The wording says, a slave stands before you. This slave has disrespected his master by telling him, you are not my master. How will you punish this slave? To add insult to injury, this was assigned on the first day of Black History Month. I know, speechless. So we'll talk about it when we come back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to discuss today's homework on the Tammi McLeod Show on Fox Soul.